Good. You showed up. The one they flagged in every file and still don't understand. So, let's talk about that little surveillance check, huh? You on the test, wires on your skin, cold room, numbers on a screen, and that lovely moment when the needle started drawing zigzags. Because that wasn't just a machine glitch. That was your soul refusing to sit in a straight line. They've been running protocols on you since you were a kid. Not with wires and a polygraph at first. No. With grades, with looks, with, why can't you be more like them? With, are you okay? Asked like a threat. Every test, every talk, every side-eye, surveillance. Your entire life has been one long top-secret evaluation. Parents taking notes. Teachers logging your behavior. Bosses watching your performance metrics. People scrolling your socials like it's some intelligence briefing. Everything recorded, everything judged. And yet, every time they try to pin you down, the needle doesn't go straight. It zigzags. You know why? Because you were never designed to be true or false. You were built in chaos mode. Too real for their script. Too raw for their numbers. Imagine the operator in that room. Headset on, clipboard ready. They've run this protocol 1,000 times. Question, answer, clean little lines on the screen. People lie, people break, people fold. Then you walk in. You sit down like, fine, run your test. And the second they hit start, the machine starts losing its mind. Not because you're lying, but because you're finally telling the kind of truth it was never programmed to handle. That zigzag, that's every scar you don't talk about. Every time they told you to shut up and you stayed quiet. Every night you stayed awake while everyone else slept fine. Every weird thought, every broken dream, every tiny rebellion where you still chose not to die inside. They're trying to measure that with a needle. Good luck. They want you to be predictable. Surveillance only works if the subject behaves as expected. You do A, they get B. Simple, clean, boring. But you're the error in the system. The contact marked inconclusive in every report. The one the elite panel looks at and goes, "What the hell is this?" They run the footage back. They replay your answers. They analyze your reactions. They send the data up the chain, and still, the needle draws zigzags. You don't fit the protocol, and it terrifies them, because here's the dirty little secret of all this surveillance. The cameras, the tests, the social rules, the fake smiles, all of it. It's not about truth. It's about control. If they can predict you, they can control you. If they can read you, they can script you. If the needle stays straight, they know which button to press. So what happens when you sit there, wired up to all their precious machines, and the readout says, does not compute? They call it a malfunction. They call it a glitch. They say, run it again. Because they can't handle the idea that maybe you're not broken. Maybe their system is. You've been acting like you're on trial your whole life. Walking into rooms like they're interrogation chambers. Checking every word. Careful with every expression. Afraid they'll catch something. Like being human is a crime. You're terrified they'll see the real you. The tired you. The angry you. The messy, half-healed, still-standing you. Newsflash, they already see you. They just pretend they don't. Because the moment they acknowledge what you really are, their whole little protocol falls apart. Let me tell you something ugly and beautiful at the same time. Those zigzags are your power. You think the zigzag is shame. You think it's proof you're unstable, too emotional, too sensitive, too dramatic, too intense. But look at it differently. A straight line on that test means predictable, means boring. means the script is working, means the person sitting there has already folded themselves into the tiny box they were handed. The zigzag, that's your refusal. That's your resistance in wave form. Every spike is a moment you could have stayed quiet but didn't. Every drop is a moment you almost gave up but held on. Every messy curve is a moment you broke the pattern and did something they did not see coming. Think about your life. Every time you are too much, too emotional, too blunt, too cold, too intense, too quiet, too loud. It's always too something with people like you, because you don't sit comfortably in their surveillance report. You don't give them consistency. You give them turbulence. They call that a problem. I call it a weapon. You know what scares powerful people? Not loud rebels. They can see those coming. Not obedient followers. They control those. What scares them is the one who can look perfectly calm under surveillance and still not play by the script inside their head. That's you. You with the "I'm fine" on your face and the war going on in your chest. You who keeps walking after things that would have wrecked someone else. You who gets up again even when you swear you won't this time. They keep watching and you keep surviving. Zig, zag, zig, zag. Let's talk about that feeling you get when you're in a room and everyone's looking. Not always literally. Sometimes it's just the weight of expectations. Family waiting for you not to embarrass them. Friends expecting you to be the strong one. Work demanding you hit that invisible elite standard with no real support, just pressure. Life asking you to stay polite while everything in you is screaming. You feel like you're sitting under a giant invisible camera being recorded, judged, scored, every move, every word, like one wrong sentence and it all falls apart. So you try to flatten yourself. You try to become straight lines. I won't say too much. I won't feel too loud. I won't want too deeply. I'll be normal. I'll be fine. And then you wonder why you feel dead inside. Why you feel like your own life is a surveillance tape you're just watching back. Here's the thing they never told you. You were not born to be easy to read. You were not born to be a neat little file on someone's desktop. You were not born to pass their top secret character assessment. You were born to bend the damn needle. Every time you break your own pattern, you're rewriting your file. Every time you walk into a situation they expected you to crumble in and you just don't. You're forcing the system to reconsider you. They're watching you for weakness. They're waiting for you to fold. They've marked you as unstable, too emotional, too unpredictable. Good. Let them. Use it. You think unpredictability is a flaw because they told you that. Because it makes their job harder. Because if they can't anticipate you, they can't control you. But if they can't control you, then you are free. Not no problems free. Not easy life free. Real free. The kind of free that looks messy on paper and terrifying on a graph. The kind of free where the needle goes off the chart because it has no idea how to quantify you. You've got to stop walking into every room like you're on a lie detector. Stop answering questions like, your future depends on being acceptable. Stop talking to people like they're an elite panel deciding if you're allowed to be yourself. You don't need their clearance. You are the classified file. You are the need-to-know basis. And most of these people, they don't qualify. You know all those times you were quiet in a conversation because you thought your thoughts were too intense. That was a zigzag you erased. All those times you pretended something didn't hurt because you didn't want to be dramatic. Another line forced straight. You've been censoring your own truth to make their machines feel safe. For who? For what? Think about the strongest people you know. The real ones, not the curated ones on screens. The ones who've seen some serious darkness and still show up. You think their graph would be neat? You think their needle sits still? No. It jumps. It jerks. It spikes. Strength is not a straight line. Healing is not a straight line. Becoming who you actually are is not a straight line. It's a zigzag. Abrupt left turns, sudden dips, violent climbs, moments you're sure you're crashing, moments you realize you're still in the air. They're afraid of that, of people who can't be plotted. Because once you stop playing nice for the surveillance, you start acting from who you are, instead of how you look. And that's when the world has a problem. You stop texting back out of obligation. You stop entertaining conversations that drain you. You stop apologizing for your standards. You stop shrinking like you're guilty of existing. That's when your life starts to feel less like a test and more like something that actually belongs to you. People will say you've changed. They'll say you're cold now, harsh, not the same. That's just their report getting updated. They're not used to the new pattern. They're used to the version of you who tried to keep the needle still. You're not that version anymore. And yeah, it's messy. You will overcorrect sometimes. You'll cut off people too fast. You'll overshare with the wrong one. You'll misjudge. You'll stumble. Zig-zag, zig-zag. But at least it's honest. At least it's real. At least you're actually living and not sleepwalking through someone else's script. Let's go back to that room. The test. The zigzags. Imagine you sitting there now, but this time, you're not scared of the machine. You watch them stick on the sensors. You see them start the protocol. You hear the hum. You feel the pressure. And you think, of course it's going to glitch. It's never seen someone like me. They ask their questions. You don't need to perform. You don't twist yourself into safe answers. You don't underplay your story to make them comfortable. You say what's true, not the polished version, the real one. How are you? I'm tired, but I'm still here. What do you want? More than you think I deserve. What are you afraid of? Wasting my life pretending I'm fine. The needle freaks out. Good. Let it. Because the goal was never to pass their little evaluation. The goal is to walk out of that room still belonging to yourself. You know what passing their test really means? It means you've successfully convinced a broken system that you're just like everybody else. That you're harmless, soft, predictable, but you're not. Something kept you alive this long, through all the mess, through the nights nobody saw, through the thoughts you're still scared to say out loud. That something is not neat. It's not tidy. It's not a straight line. It is a wild, jagged, stubborn signal that keeps telling the universe, I'm not done yet. That's the zigzag. Every time you show up when it'd be easier to disappear. Zig. Every time you open your mouth and say the thing you're afraid to admit. Zag. Every time you pick yourself up without applause, without witnesses, without anyone saying, good job. Zig. Every time you choose not to become what hurt you. Zag. Surveillance can watch that, record that, try to decode that. They still won't get it, because the real data is inside you, in the way your chest tightens before you walk into a room, in the way your hands shake right before you do something brave, in the way your voice cracks the first time you tell the truth. After years of lying, no machine can measure that. No top-secret protocol can fully map that. No elite panel can really approve or deny that. They can call you unstable, too intense, too sensitive, too much. Fine. They label what they fear. That's all this ever was. Their labels, their reports, their files. But you don't have to read your life off their paperwork anymore. You are not the footage. You are not the notes. You are not the warning attached to your name. You're the zigzag. And the more you lean into that, the realness, the depth, the contradictions, the refusal to be flat, the less their surveillance matters. They can watch you grow. They can watch you heal. They can watch you go from breaking quietly to building loudly. All they'll see is a needle drawing patterns they were never trained to interpret. So when you feel eyes on you, when you feel judged, when you feel like you're back in that chair, wires on, heart racing, mind screaming, remember this: you are not here to pass the test. You are here to break it. You are here to confuse the protocol. You are here to rewrite the chart. They wanted straight lines. They got you instead. And here's the twist that really fries their circuits. The moment you stop trying to flatten your signal for them, your whole life starts to tilt. You feel it, don't you? That low hum under your skin, like something in you is done taking orders, done sitting still in some invisible chair, hooked up to invisible wires, waiting for invisible approval. You've been walking around like your whole existence is one long surveillance check. You wake up and you're already on the test. Phone in your hand, eyes on your feed, numbers, notifications. Who looked, who didn't, who texted, who left you on read. Every little thing becomes data. Did they like my post? Did I say that wrong? Do they think I'm weird now? Zigzag. The needle is losing its mind because you handed the controller of your nervous system to a crowd that doesn't even know your middle name. You know what's really dramatic? Not the big breakdowns. Those are obvious. What's really dramatic is the quiet way you've been dying a little bit every time you censor yourself mid-sentence. Every time you laugh it off when it actually hurt. Every time you say, "It's all good," when your chest is on fire. That's the real horror show. A slow, polite collapse. Neat, socially acceptable, safe for office environments. They call that well-adjusted. I call it emotional taxidermy. Meanwhile, your zigzag is still there, pacing in the back of your skull like, "Let me out. Say it. Do it. Leave. Stay. Try. Fight." And you keep shoving it back down because you're scared of how big it is, how loud, how real. You're terrified that if you ever let that version of you out, everyone will run. They'll say you're unstable, crazy, too damaged, too intense. Good. Then at least you'll know who was only there for the straight-line version of you. Look, if someone can only love you when the needle stays calm, they don't love you. They love their own comfort. They love the version of you that doesn't disturb their sleep. The version of you that matters, keeps people up at night. Not because you're a monster, but because you spark something in them they're not ready to face. You walk into their life, and suddenly their own straight lines start shaking. Their own lies feel louder. Their own compromises taste bitter. You're not just a person. You're a glitch in their matrix. A living reminder that they settled for less and called it normal. Of course they talk about you. Of course they label you. Of course you're too much. It's basic self-defense. If they can convince themselves you're the problem, they don't have to look at themselves. But deep down, they know. They know what you are. They know you're what it looks like to still be fighting. And yeah, it's ugly sometimes. You lose it. You say things too sharp. You cry in bathrooms. You ghost people. You overshare with strangers at 3 a.m. You restart your life every 6 months, thinking, this time I'll get it right. Zigzag, zigzag. They see chaos. I see a heart refusing to flatline. You know what flatlines look like? Nice, straight, calm, peaceful, dead. They want your soul on a flat line and your body clocked in on time. That's the trade. Behave, and we'll let you exist. You didn't come here to just exist. You know how I know? Because you're still listening. If you were really done, you'd be numb by now, scrolling to distract, laughing at jokes you don't feel, pretending everything's fine with that dead look in your eyes. But something in you is still twitching, still clenching its fists behind your ribs, still replaying moments and thinking, I should have stood up for myself there. I should have said no. I should have walked away. I should have tried. That's the zigzag, scratching at the glass. You've been living like there's a camera on you 24/7, like every move will be used as evidence later. So you try to be defensible, you try to be reasonable, you try to be understandable, and in the process you've become unrecognizable to yourself. That's the sick part. You're not just being watched. You've started watching yourself like you're not even you. Constant self-surveillance, constant self-cross-examination. Why did I say that? Why did I feel that? Why did I react like that? As if every human moment is a crime scene. You've turned your heart into a suspect. And for what? To win a verdict from people who would forget you in 2 weeks if you vanished. To meet standards written by people who are failing their own souls quietly. Listen to me. You're not evidence. You're not a case file. You're not a risk assessment. You're a live wire. And yeah, you shock people. You shock yourself. So what? Better a live wire than a disconnected cable coiled neatly in the corner. They built this world to favor the straight line, straight career, straight smiles, straight narrative. Born, did well, got stable, retired, died. That's their dream. But you broke formation. Too early, too loud, too alive. So they trained the spotlight on you. Watch this one. They don't follow the script. And you thought that meant something was wrong with you. What if it meant you're the only one still awake? What if the surveillance isn't proof that you're broken? It's proof that you're dangerous to the quiet lie they're all living. Think about it. You felt out of place everywhere, right? Too deep for small talk. Too sensitive for games. Too tired for pretending. You sit in rooms and feel like you're the only one noticing what's really going on. The fake smiles, the hollow achievements, the subtle cruelty, and it messes with you, makes you question yourself. Am I seeing too much? Am I overreacting? Am I the problem? No, you're not the problem, you're just not asleep. And yeah, being awake in a sleeping world hurts like hell. That's why your graph looks the way it does. You're feeling everything they're ignoring. You're holding weight they've numbed themselves to. They're flat. You spike. They call it overreacting. You call it actually reacting. You can't shut that off without killing the best parts of you. Your empathy, your intuition, your gut. That weird little sense that says, this is wrong, even when everyone else is fine with it. That's not a malfunction. That's your built-in alarm system. They will try to drug it, mock it, shame it, laugh at it, talk you out of it. Because if you start trusting that signal, you stop being manageable. You stop sitting at tables you were only invited to as decoration. You stop pleasing people who have no intention of ever seeing you. You stop agreeing to live a life that makes their reports look good and your spirit feel dead. The moment you say, "I'm done performing for the cameras," everything shifts. People leave. Fine. Jobs shake. Fine. Relationships get weird. Fine. The ones who only knew the straight-line version of you won't understand the zigzag. They're going to say you're changing. Like that's a bad thing. Of course you're changing. Staying the same was killing you. There's a point where playing safe becomes more dangerous than being real. You've been at that point for a while. You feel it in your body. The burnout. The random panic. That's not weakness. That's your system screaming, "I can't keep faking this." You think the test is out there, in their rooms, under their cameras, on their machines. The real test is this. Can you look at your own reflection without adjusting it in your mind to make it more acceptable? Can you sit with your own zigzags without trying to straighten them? Can you say, "Yeah, I am complicated as hell, and I'm still worthy of being here"? This is the elite protocol nobody teaches you. Not how to fit, how to stop auditioning. You have to fire the imaginary audience in your head, the fake board of directors you keep presenting your life to, the made-up surveillance team you're constantly trying to impress. They're not real. You built them out of every voice that ever shamed you, gave them a control room in your skull, handed them the controls. Yo, look at you. Yeah, you. The one who walked in and made the whole room forget how to breathe. The one who didn't even have to say a word, and somehow the energy shifted like somebody just cut the power and the world went quiet for a second. And I know what you're thinking. Nah, that's not me. Cute. That's the old you talking. The version that learned to shrink so other people could stay comfortable. But today, we're not doing comfortable. Because there's a moment, oh, there's always a moment, when you step into a place and everything in it exposes itself. Not because you're loud, not because you're flashy, not because you're begging for attention. No, it's worse than that. It's because you walked in like you belong, and the world hates that kind of confidence when it isn't approved. See pros? Pros don't quit because someone is better at buttons and combos and mechanics and whatever little skills they worship. Pros quit when something shows up that they can't measure, something that doesn't fit their charts, something that messes with their nervous system. They quit when they feel your presence hit the air like a punch. That's what this is. You stepped in, the whole arena froze, then it erupted for you. And let me tell you why that happens. Because most people don't walk into places. They arrive asking permission. They come in with a sorry posture. They come in with, "I hope you like me" eyes. They come in with that soft, polite, invisible energy like, "Please don't notice me too much." And then you show up, and your vibe is different. Not perfect, not polished, not fake, just dangerously certain. Not certain like, "I'm better than you." Certain like, "I've been through hell, and I didn't die. So what exactly are you gonna do to me?" Yeah, that kind of certainty makes people uncomfortable. It makes pretenders nervous. It makes gatekeepers angry. It makes pros, real pros, go real quiet because they can feel it. They can feel that you're not playing for points. You're playing for something personal. And that's when the arena changes, because crowds don't erupt for skill alone. Crowds erupt for truth. Crowds erupt when they recognize somebody who's not acting anymore. And that's why it gets emotionally messy. That's why it's madness and love at the same time. Because you walking in like that forces everyone else to confront what they've been avoiding in themselves. Let's get nasty with it. You know what pros fear? Pros fear the thing they can't train against. They can train against strategies. They can train against play styles. They can train against speed, aim, timing, reaction, but they can't train against a person who stopped needing validation. They can't train against somebody who doesn't care about being liked. They can't train against somebody who is fueled by the kind of pain that doesn't make you weak. It makes you sharp. They can't train against the version of you that finally said, "Fine, if nobody's coming to save me, I'll become the thing that saves me." And ooh, that version doesn't enter a room to compete. That version enters a room to take up space. That version makes the air heavy. You ever notice how the most dangerous people don't rush? They don't scramble. They don't explain themselves. They move like time belongs to them. And that's what happens when you've been underestimated long enough that you stop trying to prove anything. You stop performing. You stop over-talking. You stop over-apologizing. You stop sending paragraph texts to people who don't even read your heart. You stop. And when you stop, you become loud without making noise. That's why the arena froze. Because when you stepped in, it wasn't just a player walking in. It was a storm in human form. It was consequences. It was that I've suffered quietly and now I'm done whispering energy. And you might be thinking, but I'm not famous. I'm not rich. I'm not some big deal. Yeah. I've heard that sad little script before. Let me explain something that nobody tells you because they profit off you staying small. Your presence is a weapon if you sharpen it. And sharpening it isn't about becoming mean. It's about becoming honest. It's about walking into places with the quiet understanding that your life has already trained you in ways they can't copy. They learned confidence from compliments. You learned confidence from survival. They learned discipline from motivation. You learned discipline from getting hurt and still showing up. They learned patience from reading quotes. You learned patience from waiting for your life to get better while nobody noticed you were drowning. So don't you dare compare your fire to their little candle. You weren't built in comfort. You were built in pressure. And pressure makes diamonds. Or it makes monsters. And if you're listening to me right now, I think I know which one you're choosing. Now listen, when pros quit on the spot, it's not always because they're scared you'll beat them. Sometimes it's worse. Sometimes they quit because you remind them of the one thing they hate admitting. They've gotten good, but they've gotten soft. They got comfortable being praised. They got addicted to being called talented. They started protecting an image. And you don't have an image to protect. You've already been judged, already been laughed at, already been counted out, already been called too much or not enough. So you're free. And freedom is terrifying to people in cages they decorated. That's why they freeze. Because the second you stepped in, their body understood something their ego didn't want to admit. This one isn't here to play my game. And that's when the crowd feels it too. Crowds can smell authenticity like blood in the water. They can tell when someone is trying to be cool versus someone who's been through real stuff and came back with that dead-eyed calm. You know that calm, right? That calm that shows up After you've cried so many times, you got tired of crying. That calm after you've begged people to understand you, and they still misunderstood you. That calm after you've been disappointed so often you started laughing at it. That's not weakness. That's evolution. That's you shedding the version of yourself that needed the world to clap first. Because here's the secret. The arena doesn't erupt when you ask for it. The arena erupts when you decide, internally, I don't need you to approve me. I'm doing this anyway. And that decision, that private decision, changes your face, changes your posture, changes how you walk, changes how long you hold eye contact, changes your voice, even when you barely speak. People feel that. They feel it in a gym, they feel it in a classroom, they feel it in a meeting, they feel it when you walk into a family gathering and you're no longer begging to be treated right. They feel it when you stop negotiating your worth. And I know, part of you still wants to be liked. That's human, but you have to understand something brutal. If you're building a life that's true, somebody is going to hate you for it. Somebody is going to call you arrogant when you're just finally confident. Somebody is going to call you selfish when you're just finally setting boundaries. Somebody is going to call you changed, like it's an insult. Yeah, you changed. You changed because staying the same was killing you. So let them talk. Let them whisper. Let them stare. That's the sound of people watching you become what they were too scared to become. Now, so let's talk about how you become the kind of person who walks in and makes pros quit without you even trying. Because this isn't magic, it's psychology. Step 1, stop explaining yourself. Explaining is begging in a suit. You don't need to justify your dreams to people who benefit from you staying small. You don't need to convince someone to respect you. You don't need to argue your worth like it's up for debate. The second you stop over-explaining, your energy turns heavy. People start leaning in. They start wondering what you know. They start filling in the blanks with their imagination. And imagination is powerful. Step 2, stop chasing. Start choosing. Chasing makes you look needy. Choosing makes you look dangerous. When you chase, you're saying, please pick me. When you choose, you're saying, I already picked myself. Keep up or move. And let me tell you, the world responds differently to people who choose themselves. Step 3, become consistent in private. This is where the real monsters are made. You want to walk into the arena and freeze it? Then you have to build an inner life that can't be shaken. That means you do the boring stuff. You do the reps. You keep promises to yourself. You show up on the days you feel ugly, tired, anxious, uninspired. Because confidence isn't a feeling. Confidence is a receipt. It's proof. It's you looking at your own history and saying, I don't care how I feel right now. I've seen what I do when it's hard. That's what makes you terrifying to pros. Because pros who rely on hype collapse when the hype dies. But you don't run on hype. You run on standards. Step 4, get comfortable being misunderstood. Oh, this one burns, doesn't it? Because you want people to get it. You want them to see your heart. You want them to recognize your effort. But the higher you rise, the fewer people can interpret you accurately. They'll label you based on their wounds, not your intentions. They'll project their insecurities onto your silence. They'll assume your confidence is arrogance because they've never met someone who believes in themselves without putting others down. Let them misunderstand you. You are not here to be interpreted by everyone. You're here to become undeniable. Step 5, master the pause. Not everything needs an instant response. Not every insult needs a clap back. Not every challenge needs you to prove yourself. Sometimes the most disrespectful thing you can do to a hater is nothing. Silence makes weak people panic because they can't control the narrative. You pause, you breathe, you look at them like you're deciding whether they're worth your time. And even if you're shaking inside, you hold the line. That's presence. That's power. That's the arena freezing. Because people are used to controlling others with pressure. They push, you react. They provoke, you defend. They doubt, you scramble to prove. But when you don't react the way they expected, their brain short-circuits. They're like, wait, why isn't this working? Because you're not the old version anymore. Now, let's get real personal. A lot of you listening, you weren't trained to be powerful. You were trained to be nice. You were trained to be quiet, to not make waves, to not upset people, to keep the peace. But let me ask you something. How many times did you keep the peace and it cost you yourself? How many times did you stay quiet and it trained people that you're okay with disrespect? How many times did you swallow your anger and it turned into anxiety? Yeah. And then one day you wake up and you can't recognize your own life. You've been living like a guest in your own body, but not today. Today, you take the seat back. Today, you stop asking for permission to exist loudly, because the world doesn't reward people who are easy to ignore. The world rewards people who become a problem. Not a problem like chaos for no reason. A problem like, you can't push me around anymore. A problem like, your little games don't work on me. A problem like, I'm not available for disrespect. And once you become that kind of problem, oh, it's funny. Suddenly people start respecting you. Suddenly you're intimidating. Suddenly you're different. No, you're just done tolerating nonsense. Now let's bring it back to the arena. Picture it. You step in. The lights are loud. The air is thick. People are already watching, already judging, already sizing you up. And you feel it. That pressure. That old anxiety wants to crawl up your spine like a spider. But you don't flinch. You don't try to look cool. You look certain. And that certainty doesn't come from believing you'll win. It comes from knowing you'll be fine, even if you lose. Because losing doesn't break you anymore. You've lost before. You've been embarrassed before. You've been rejected before. You've been laughed at before. And you survived. So what exactly are they going to threaten you with? A moment? A scoreboard? A comment section? Please. You were built in the comment section. You were forged in the disrespect. You were shaped by the nights you felt alone, and still got up the next day like, okay, round 2. That's why pros quit. Because they're fighting for status, and you're fighting for identity. You're fighting for the version of you that you promised you'd become. And people can feel that kind of fight. It's primal. It's not just competition. It's revenge against your own past. Not revenge against people. Nah. Revenge against the you that used to quit. Revenge against the you that used to fold. Revenge against the you that used to accept crumbs. And let me tell you, when you carry that kind of mission inside you, you don't walk like everybody else. You don't speak like everybody else. You don't tolerate the same nonsense. Your standards rise, your patience shrinks, your eyes get colder, and your heart gets sharper. And then the crowd erupts. Because deep down, everyone wants to believe they can become that too. They want to believe someone can go through pain and come out powerful instead of bitter. They want to believe someone can be broken and still choose greatness. So when they see it in you, they lose their minds. They cheer, they scream, they freeze, they stare. Not because you're perfect, because you're real. Now, I'm going to tell you something that might sting. Some of your friends won't clap for this version of you. Some of your family won't understand. Some people who loved you when you were small will act weird when you get serious. They'll joke about it. They'll downplay it. They'll hit you with the "who do you think you are" energy. And I need you to hear me. That reaction is not about you. That reaction is about the mirror you just became. Your growth exposes their excuses. Your discipline exposes their laziness. Your boundaries expose their entitlement. Your confidence exposes their fear. So they'll try to shrink you back down to the version they could control. Don't go back. Don't you dare go back. You didn't survive everything you survived just to become ordinary for people who never carried you. Now, here's the part nobody talks about. If you want to be the person that freezes rooms, you have to accept that it gets lonely. Not forever, but for a while. Because when you level up, your old environment doesn't fit anymore. Your jokes don't land the same. Your patience changes. Your tolerances drop. You start craving depth. You start craving progress. You start craving people who don't drain you with drama and excuses. And at first that can feel like losing people. But it's not loss. It's space. It's space for the life you actually want. So when the loneliness hits, don't take it as a sign you're doing something wrong. Take it as a sign you're no longer available for your old patterns. Now breathe. Yeah, breathe. Because I want you to imagine the next time you walk into a room where you used to feel small, a workplace where they overlooked you, a class where they underestimated you, a group chat where they talked over you, a gym where you felt out of place, a family function where they treat you like a kid. And this time, you don't walk in asking for a seat. You walk in as the storm, not loud, not rude, not desperate, just grounded. And if your hands shake a little, fine. If your heart races, fine. Courage isn't calm. Courage is acting like a king while your nervous system screams. And you do it anyway, because you're not waiting to feel ready. You're becoming ready by showing up. And here's the funny part. People will start reacting to you before you even arrive. They'll say your name differently. They'll watch you when you're not looking. They'll bring you up in conversations you're not in. Because once your presence shifts, it echoes, and you're gonna notice something wild. The same people who didn't respect you before will start trying to get close. They'll pretend they always believed in you. They'll act like they were there from the start. And that's when you'll know it worked. Not because you need them, but because you can see the pattern. The world doesn't love potential. The world loves proof. So you become proof. You become the kind of person who makes excuses feel embarrassing. You become the kind of person who makes later sound like weakness. You become the kind of person who makes pros question themselves. Not because you're cruel, because you're committed. And commitment is scary. Because commitment means you're not negotiating with your comfort anymore. It means you're willing to be bored, willing to be tired, willing to be misunderstood, willing to be the villain in someone else's story. And that's why your entrance freezes the arena. Because everyone else is still trying to be loved. And you're trying to be free. So next time you step in, don't rush. Don't overtalk. Don't perform. Just carry your silence like a blade. Carry your discipline like a secret. Carry your pain like fuel. And when the pressure hits, when the eyes are on you, when the room tries to test you, you give them that look that says, I've been through worse than you. That look that says, I don't need your permission. That look that says, try me if you want. Because you didn't come this far to be soft. You didn't survive all that to be average. You didn't crawl out of your darkest days just to walk back into cages wearing a smile. Nah, you stepped in and the whole arena froze, and then it erupted for you. And somewhere in the back of the room, the so-called pros, yeah, the ones who were so confident 5 minutes ago, are suddenly staring at the floor like they just realized something. They've been playing games, and you've been building a legend. So keep walking in like the storm. Keep showing up like you've already survived the worst. Keep stacking receipts in private. Keep getting sharper. Keep getting colder where you need to be cold. And stay human where it matters. Because the next time you enter a room that tried to break you, I want you to feel it. That split-second silence, that little freeze, that moment where people don't know how to act because they can't place you anymore. Good. Let them panic. Let them wonder. Let them feel that shift, because that shift is your life changing in real time, and you're just getting started. Good. Good. Welcome back, you beautifully inconvenient people. Welcome to the part of the story where you stop being invisible. Because let's talk about it. Really talk about it. The global elites just flagged your name in their private system. You weren't meant to see this. And before you roll your eyes like, yeah, right, man, what is this, a movie? Listen, I'm not even asking you to believe there's some literal glowing red button that got smashed the moment you woke up and chose violence against your old life. I'm asking you to recognize a pattern, a real one, a human one, because the moment you stop playing small, the moment you stop being predictable, the moment you stop being easy to manage, something shifts. You feel it. In the way people look at you, in the way doors that were always open suddenly get heavy, in the way your name comes up and the room gets weirdly quiet, in the way your posts get less reach, in the way your friends suddenly have concerns about your energy, in the way your family starts acting like ambition is a disease. Yeah, that's the flag, not some sci-fi database. A social database, a system, the invisible spreadsheet everyone is in, whether they admit it or not. And you weren't meant to notice it. You were meant to stay asleep, comfortable, distracted, apologetic, and grateful for scraps. You were meant to stay reasonable, stay realistic, stay humble. You know what those words mean in the mouth of someone who benefits from your silence? They mean, stay in your place. And you didn't. That's why you're here. That's why this speech is hitting your chest like a fist. Because part of you already knows you're not crazy. You're not overthinking. You're not doing too much. You're waking up. And waking up is loud. Waking up breaks things. Waking up makes people uncomfortable. See, the world loves a person who's healing, as long as you heal quietly. The world loves a person who's improving, as long as you improve slowly. The world loves a person who's finding confidence, as long as you don't start acting like you own your life. But the moment you start moving like you actually believe in yourself, the moment you start building discipline, boundaries, skills, power, that's when the system gets nervous. Because a person with nothing to lose is dangerous, sure. But a person with a plan, a person who's calm, consistent, and no longer begging for validation, oh, that's a problem. That's the kind of person you can't easily manipulate, can't easily shame, can't easily gaslight, can't easily distract with the usual shiny nonsense. So, yeah, your name gets flagged. And the crazy part, you'll feel it first inside your own mind. It'll play your past failures on loop like a toxic playlist. It'll whisper, "Who do you think you are? Don't embarrass yourself. Be realistic. Remember what happened last time." That's not intuition. That's conditioning. That's the internal security system, the private system that was installed in you a long time ago. And you weren't meant to see it. You were meant to think it was you, your personality, your anxiety, your bad luck, your lack of motivation. Nah, it's a program, and you're finally watching the code scroll down the screen. So let me say it clean, right now. If you feel resistance the moment you start improving, that does not mean you're on the wrong path. It often means you're finally on a path that matters. Because comfort never tries to stop you. Comfort welcomes you. Comfort gives you snacks and excuses and a soft little story that says, maybe tomorrow. But growth has a bouncer at the door. Growth says, prove it. Growth says, pay in discomfort. Growth says, earn it with consistency. And the system, your system, their system, everybody's system, hates consistency. Because consistency turns you into proof. And proof is contagious. You know what scares the global elites? And I'm using that phrase the way people use it, as shorthand for anyone at the top who benefits from you being small. What scares them isn't your anger. They can monetize your anger. They can redirect your anger. They can sell you a personality based on anger. What scares them is your clarity. Your clarity means you stop chasing noise. You stop arguing with strangers online. You stop trying to win approval. You stop performing pain for sympathy. You start stacking skills. You start saving money. You start training your body. You start reading the boring stuff that actually changes your life. You start showing up when it's inconvenient. And suddenly you're not a consumer. You're not a follower. You're not a pawn. You're a problem. So the flag goes up. And it won't look dramatic at first. It'll look like little coincidences. People you supported won't support you back. Opportunities will disappear at the last second. You'll get misunderstood on purpose. You'll get labeled. You'll get turned into a story. Because the fastest way to kill a rising person isn't to fight them head on. It's to poison how other people perceive them. It's reputation warfare. It's social pressure. It's the subtle suggestion that you're too intense, too ambitious, too different. And if you still crave acceptance, that poison works. You'll shrink to get back into the group. You'll soften your voice. You'll edit your truth. You'll tone it down. And you'll call it maturity. No, that's fear in a suit. Here's the part they really don't want you to understand. The system doesn't have to lock you in a cage. It just has to convince you that freedom is embarrassing. It just has to convince you that wanting more is cringe. That taking yourself seriously is arrogant. That discipline is obsessive. That boundaries are selfish. That being focused is boring. You ever notice how the internet clowns the people who are actually consistent? How everyone loves self-improvement content until someone actually improves. Then suddenly it's, who do they think they are? Must be nice. They changed. Yeah, of course you changed. You were supposed to. But they were counting on you not changing too much. Because when you change, you make other people question what they've accepted. And people hate that. People hate that more than they hate losing money. You become a mirror, and mirrors make cowards angry. So listen, really listen, if you're feeling like you've been flagged. Good, because that means you've reached the part of your life where you're no longer background noise. And now you have a choice. You can either panic and start looking over your shoulder like a paranoid little rabbit, jumping at shadows, blaming everything, spiraling into conspiracy fantasies that make you feel special, but keep you powerless. Or you can get calm. You can get strategic. You can get disciplined, because the most terrifying thing you can do to any system is refuse to react emotionally to its pressure. Pressure is designed to make you flinch. Pressure is designed to make you rush. Pressure is designed to make you overshare, over-explain, over-defend. And that's how they trap you. They bait you into becoming messy. You know what wins? Silence, consistency, receipts, routine. You don't beat the system by screaming at it. You beat it by outgrowing it. Let me translate that into real life, because you need real life, not movie quotes. If you want to feel unflagged, stop living like an open book for people who don't deserve the pages. Stop announcing your next move. Train in private, learn in private, save in private, plan in private. Not because you're scared, because you're serious. Serious people don't live stream their foundations. Serious people don't beg for applause while they're still pouring concrete. And I know, it feels lonely. It feels unfair. It feels like you're doing all this work and nobody claps. Good. That's how you know it's real, because attention is a drug. And the moment you stop needing it, you become dangerous in the best way. Now let's talk about the actual private system, because it's not just society. It's not just elites. It's not just politics or money. It's patterns. The private system is the people who benefit when you doubt yourself, the habits that keep you tired, the distractions that keep you scrolling, the addictions that keep you numb, the relationships that keep you small, the inner voice that keeps you apologizing for taking up space. That's the real database, and your name got flagged the moment you started saying no. No to the toxic friend who only calls when they need something. No to the boss who thinks your life belongs to the company. No to the family member who tries to guilt you back into the role you outgrew. No to the version of you that keeps making the same mistake and calling it fate. You weren't meant to see the system, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you see manipulation, you can't go back to being easily played. Once you see how people use shame like a leash, you start cutting ropes, and people hate it when their leash doesn't work. They'll escalate. They'll test you. They'll provoke you. They'll try to trigger you back into the old version of you. They'll send the text designed to make you react. They'll say the thing designed to make you snap. They'll do the "I'm just being honest" routine while stabbing you with a smile. And if you react, they win, not because they're powerful, because they got access to your nervous system. So here's your new rule. Do not let people who haven't earned your trust have access to your emotions. That's not being cold. That's being free. You can be kind without being available. You can be loving without being manipulatable. You can be confident without being loud. You want to scare the system? Stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. Stop auditioning for respect. Stop negotiating your boundaries. Say it once. Mean it. Live it. Because boundaries aren't words. Boundaries are behavior. And when your behavior changes, the whole world has to update its expectations. That's the real flag right there. They were used to you folding. They were used to you apologizing. They were used to you coming back. They were used to you taking the bait. And now you don't. Now you breathe. Now you pause. Now you choose the move that protects your future instead of feeding the moment. That is power. And it's the kind of power nobody can confiscate. Let me hit you with something uncomfortable because you came for dark motivation, right? You didn't come for a hug. A lot of you want to be chosen. You want to be recognized. You want the world to finally clap and say, "We always believed in you." And I'm telling you, most of them won't. Not because you're not worthy, but because your rise threatens the story they tell themselves to survive their own mediocrity. If you make it, what does that say about their excuses? If you transform, what does that say about their comfort? If you get disciplined, what does that say about their constant complaining? So they'll try to keep you close to your old identity. They'll say they miss the old you. You know what they really mean? They miss the version of you they could control. They miss the version of you that made them feel superior. They miss the version of you that needed them. And if you're not careful, you'll confuse familiarity with love. Love does not punish growth. Love does not mock ambition. Love does not guilt-trip boundaries. So if your name is flagged, good. Let them watch. Let them whisper. Let them doubt. Let them label. Because while they're talking, you're building. While they're stalking your progress, you're stacking wins. While they're trying to figure out what happened to you, you're becoming unrecognizable. And yes, it might cost you some relationships. It might cost you access. It might cost you invitations. It might cost you the illusion of belonging. But it's going to buy you something priceless: self-respect. And self-respect is the foundation of everything. You don't cheat on your goals when you respect yourself. You don't tolerate disrespect when you respect yourself. You don't. Now let's get practical, because motivation without strategy is just emotional fireworks. It looks cute, then it dies. If your name is flagged, here's what you do. You tighten your circle, not because you hate people, because you love your future. You audit your habits like a detective. Where does your time go? Where does your money go? Where does your attention leak out? Because attention is currency now, and the system feeds off your scattered mind. You cut the cheap dopamine. Not forever, not like a monk. Relax. But you stop letting your phone decide your mood. You stop letting notifications control your nervous system. You stop waking up and immediately consuming other people's lives like that's breakfast. You replace chaos with routine. And routine is boring. Routine is unsexy. Routine doesn't get likes. But routine turns you into a machine. And a machine doesn't need motivation. A machine needs a schedule. So you build one. You lift. You walk. You sweat. Because a strong body makes a strong mind. And a strong mind doesn't fold when pressure comes. You read. You learn. You upskill. Because the fastest way to stop being controlled is to become competent. Competence is freedom. Competence is leverage. You get your money tighter, not because money is everything, but because being broke makes you easy to control. When you're broke, you tolerate disrespect for survival. When you're broke, you stay in rooms you should have left. When you're broke, you sell your time too cheap. So you build a buffer. You build options. Options are power. And then, this is the hardest part. You accept that the pressure doesn't mean stop. Pressure means you're finally pushing against the ceiling that used to feel like the sky. And a lot of you have been living under ceilings your whole life, calling it reality. No, that's just the limit of what you've been trained to believe. Let me guess. You've been the nice one, the reliable one, the low-maintenance one, the one who doesn't ask for much, the one who's always understanding, and you called it being mature. But really you were negotiating against yourself. You were shrinking preemptively to avoid conflict. You were making yourself easier to handle so nobody would leave. You were swallowing your needs so you wouldn't be too much. And now, you're tired, like soul tired, because you weren't made to live like an apology. So when the system flags your name, it's because you're finally taking up space. And taking up space feels like danger when you've lived your whole life trying to be invisible. But listen to me, that feeling in your chest, that fear, that shaking, that's not a warning to stop. That's your nervous system recalibrating to a bigger life. It's withdrawal from your old identity, and withdrawal hurts. Withdrawal lies to you. Withdrawal tries to bargain. It says, just do a little less, just relax, just wait. And that's how dreams die. Not in a dramatic explosion, in a slow, polite surrender. Not you. You don't surrender politely anymore. You move with intention now. You move with receipts now. You move like someone who finally understands that nobody is coming to save you. And that's actually good news, because it means nobody gets to control your rescue either. And I know it's scary. I know some night you stare at the ceiling and feel that weird mix of rage and hope and grief. Grief for the time you wasted. Grief for the version of you that didn't know better. But don't you dare turn that grief and a self-hate. Turn it into fuel. Use it. Let it sharpen you. Because the truth is, the system didn't flag you because you're weak. The system flags people who are waking up. People who are changing. People who are becoming unpredictable. They flag the ones who stop accepting the script. And you're done accepting scripts. You're done living like a side character in somebody else's story. You're done being the punchline. You're done being the potential person who never actually cashes in. Potential is just a prettier word for unused power, and unused power turns into depression. Unused power turns into bitterness. Unused power turns into that numb, quiet life where you smile in pictures and feel dead inside. So you're going to use it now. And you're going to use it even while you're scared, even while you're tired, even while you're healing. Because healing isn't passive. Healing is war. Healing is boundaries. Healing is discipline. Healing is telling the truth when lying would be easier. And the people who benefited from your silence will call that changing. They'll call that selfish. They'll call that cold. Let them. You weren't meant to be understood by people who only liked you when you were convenient. And here's the part that hit. Sometimes out of jealousy, they don't even understand. Sometimes because your growth forces them to face their stagnation. So stop looking for permission. Stop waiting for the green light. Stop waiting for somebody to finally say, okay, now you can be great. Nobody hands you greatness. You take it, quietly, relentlessly. And when you take it, you don't announce it like a thirsty headline. You just become it. And yes, the system will escalate. The pressure will rise. The whispers will get louder. The tests will get sharper. They'll offer you distractions that look like opportunities. They'll offer you comfort that looks like love. They'll offer you shortcuts that look like, finally, your break. And some of it will be bait. So you develop discernment. You stop confusing attention with alignment. You stop confusing popularity with purpose. You stop confusing fast progress with real progress. Real progress is boring. Real progress is waking up and doing it again. Real progress is saying no when your ego wants to say yes. Real progress is choosing the long road when the short road is calling your name like a devil with a pretty smile. And your ego will beg you to react. Your ego will beg you to prove yourself. What's good? My beautifully dangerous people. The ones who don't need to scream to be heard. The ones who don't need to beg for space because your presence takes it. Yeah, you. The ones who walk in and the whole room quietly adjusts its attitude, like it just remembered consequences. Because let's talk about it. The way you step into a room now, not walk in, not enter. You step in, like you own your nervous system, like you're not asking the air for permission to breathe. And people, grown adults, full of opinions, full of fake confidence, people start scanning for the nearest exit. Not because you're loud, not because you're violent. No. It's worse than that for them. It's because you're certain. It's because you're steady. It's because you're the kind of calm that makes other people realize how shaky they are inside. That's your aura. See, there are two kinds of power. There's the look at me power, the try hard power, the loud laugh, the desperate jokes, the flexing, the posturing, the constant performance like their life is one endless audition. And then there's your power, the kind that doesn't show up with fireworks. It shows up with gravity. You walk in, and the room doesn't greet you. It measures you. People don't wonder, who is that? They wonder, what do they know? They wonder, what have they been through? They wonder, why do I suddenly feel exposed? Because you don't enter rooms the way you used to, do you? Back then, you used to come in hoping to be accepted. You used to come in scanning faces like a survival habit. You used to take emotional temperature readings like you were trained to be small. You used to laugh a little too early, a little too much, like you were trying to prepay for safety. You used to soften your edges. You used to shrink your truth. You used to explain yourself before anyone even questioned you. And yeah, I know exactly why. Because at some point you learned that being fully yourself had a cost. You learned that people can be sweet to your face and still secretly root for your downfall. You learned that the moment you look confident, somebody calls it arrogant. The moment you set a boundary, somebody calls it attitude. The moment you stop being convenient, somebody calls you difficult. So you tried to be digestible. You tried to be safe. You tried to be liked. And it didn't even work, did it? Because the truth is, people don't respect what they can easily manipulate. They don't value what they can access anytime with no effort. They don't protect what they don't fear losing. And one day, something in you just snapped. Not in some dramatic movie way. More like you got tired. Tired of being the understanding one. Tired of swallowing your feelings like they're an inconvenience. Tired of apologizing for taking up space in a world that never apologized for cutting you down. You didn't become colder. You became clearer. And clarity. Oh, clarity is terrifying to people who live in excuses. So now when you step into a room, your energy says one thing before your mouth ever opens. I'm not here to be handled. I'm here to be respected. And they feel it. They feel it in the way you don't rush to fill silence. They feel it in the way your eyes don't flinch. They feel it when you don't do that anxious little smile to make everyone comfortable. They feel it because your nervous system is no longer volunteering to be the room's punching bag. And listen, the exit scanning, that's not always fear. Sometimes it's guilt. Sometimes you walk into a room and someone remembers the version of you they played with. Someone remembers the version of you they took for granted. Someone remembers the version of you that used to answer right away, forgive right away, help right away, tolerate right away. And now you show up with this new vibe, and it's like the room has to update its software. Because the old tricks don't work anymore. The little jabs don't land the same. The passive-aggressive comments don't hook you. The "we were just joking" doesn't erase disrespect. You don't react the way you used to. You look at people like, "Are you done?" Like, "Is that the best you've got?" Like, "You're really still doing this?" And that's why they scan for exits. Because they're used to rooms where they control the mood. They're used to being the loudest energy. They're used to walking in and instantly making it all about them. And then you show up, quiet, composed, emotionally armed with self-respect. And they can't read you. They can't predict you. They can't steer you. And when someone can't steer you, they panic. Because control addicts, they don't want connection. They want compliance. They don't want friendship. They want access. They don't want to understand you. They want to manage you. And your aura says, yeah, good luck with that. Let me tell you what your aura actually is. It's not intimidation. It's integrity with teeth. It's the kind of self-worth that doesn't negotiate with disrespect. It's the kind of presence that comes from surviving things you never got credit for. It's the kind of calm that says, I've been in worse places than this with worse people than you, and I still came out standing. That's the part nobody talks about. They see the confidence, but they don't see the nights you fought your own mind. They see the glow up, but they don't see the breakdown that happened before it. They see you moving different, dressing different, speaking different, carrying yourself like you finally realized your value. But they don't see what it took. They don't see the moments you sat there with your chest tight, replaying conversations, thinking, why am I always the one who has to be understanding? They don't see the times you looked at your own reflection and didn't recognize who you became because you were busy being what everyone else needed. They don't see the mental exhaustion of being the strong one while quietly falling apart. So when you step into a room now and people start scanning exits, what they're reacting to is the energy of someone who already died a few times inside and came back with receipts. You're not impressed by their little power games. You're not hypnotized by their charm. You're not confused by their hot and cold behavior. Because you've seen the pattern. You've lived it. You've outgrown it. And when you outgrow a pattern, the people still stuck in it feel threatened. Not because you're better than them, but because your existence becomes a mirror. And mirrors are brutal. A mirror doesn't insult you. A mirror just shows you what is. So you walk in, and people suddenly see themselves. They see their insecurity. They see their inconsistency. They see how fake they've been. They see how they talk big, but fold under pressure. They see how they clown people to hide their own fear. They see how they treat kindness like it's weakness. And then they look at you, and you're not playing the same game. You're not chasing their approval. You're not begging to be included. You're not over-explaining. You're not auditioning. You're just there, solid, present, unbothered. And that is a level of emotional wealth that broke-minded people can't understand. See, broke-minded people spend their whole lives trying to buy respect with performance. They think respect comes from popularity. They think power comes from having the last word. They think confidence comes from being the loudest person in the room. But you learned something different. You learned confidence comes from keeping promises to yourself. You learned confidence comes from walking away when your standards aren't met. You learned confidence comes from not needing to prove anything. And your aura now, it's built out of 1,000 small decisions that nobody clapped for. It's built out of you choosing discipline over dopamine. You choosing silence over arguing. You choosing self-control over petty. You choosing growth over comfort. You choosing your future over your feelings. Again and again and again. So now you step into a room and people feel it. They feel that you're not easy to bait. They feel that you don't need to win every conversation because you've already won the war inside your head. They feel that you're not desperate, and desperate people can't stand someone who isn't, because desperation is a language. It says, please choose me. It says, please like me. It says, please don't leave. It says, please don't be mad. And your aura doesn't speak that anymore. Your aura says, if you don't respect me, you don't get access. And some people hate that. Oh, they hate that. They'll call you different, like it's an insult. They'll say you changed, like it's a crime. They'll say you're acting brand new, and you should smile, just a little, because, yeah, you are brand new. Not because you're pretending, because you rebuilt yourself. You're what happens when someone stops romanticizing disrespect. You're what happens when someone stops calling bare minimum behavior love. You're what happens when someone stops letting childhood wounds drive adult choices. You're what happens when someone finally decides, I'm not going to keep suffering just to stay familiar. That's your aura. And listen, let's get real for a second. Some of the people scanning exits, they're not strangers. It's not always some random room. Sometimes it's family. Sometimes it's friends. Sometimes it's co-workers who used to talk to you any type of way. Sometimes it's that person who used to text you only when they needed something. Sometimes it's the ones who loved the old you because the old you didn't make them accountable. The old you didn't question them. The old you didn't say no. The old you didn't notice the patterns. And now you do. Now you notice everything. Now your silence has meaning. Now your no is clean and final. Now you don't argue your boundaries like you're in court trying to win a case. You just enforce them. And that's when people start acting weird. That's when they start calling you cold. No, you're not cold. You're not cold. You're just not leaking warmth into people who keep trying to drain you. You're just not offering softness to someone who keeps stepping on it. You're just not hugging knives anymore. And the moment you stop hugging knives, the people who enjoyed cutting you lose their favorite hobby. So they scan for exits, because they know you're not going back. They know the old version of you is not available. They know they can't say whatever and get away with it. They know you might actually leave. You might actually detach. You might actually choose yourself. And to people who survive by being centered in your life, that's terrifying. Now let me flip this because I want you to understand something. Your aura isn't just about how others react. Your aura is the evidence that you finally started reacting differently to life. Because the room doesn't change first. You do. You changed how you talk to yourself. You changed how you recover. You changed what you tolerate. You changed your standards. You changed what you believe you deserve. And when your internal world levels up, your external world starts to feel the pressure. People don't like pressure. Pressure exposes cracks. Pressure exposes who's real and who's just present. Pressure exposes who respects you and who only liked you when you were easy. So when you step into a room now and people scan for exits, don't shrink, don't soften, don't apologize, don't rush to make them comfortable. Because you didn't come this far to become small again, just to fit somebody's fragile ego. You didn't survive the mental wars just to lose the peace you fought for. You didn't learn self-respect just to trade it for temporary approval. Let them feel it. Let them adjust. Let them move around you like gravity changed, because it did. You're not here to be convenient. You're not here to be digestible. You're not here to be liked by everyone. You're here to be undeniable. And the funny thing is, you're not even trying to intimidate them. You're just not trying to impress them. And for insecure people, not being able to impress you is humiliating, because they're used to power being something they can manipulate. They're used to getting reactions. They're used to controlling the vibe. But you show up with that calm, that stillness, that I know who I am energy. And suddenly their little tricks look childish. Suddenly their sarcasm looks like fear. Suddenly their confidence looks rehearsed. And you don't even attack them. You don't need to. Your aura does the talking. Your posture does the talking. Your eye contact does the talking. Your lack of desperation does the talking. The fact that you can leave and be fine does the talking. That's the aura that makes people scan exits. Because your energy isn't begging to be accepted. It's selecting. It's choosing. It's evaluating. And people who have never been evaluated get nervous when they're the ones being looked at. Because they're used to being the judge. They're used to ranking people, rating people, clowning people, deciding who's cool and who's not, who matters and who doesn't. And then you show up with this energy like, I don't care what your opinion is. And they realize their opinion used to be their weapon. It used to keep people in line. It used to keep people small. But it doesn't work on you anymore, because you've already survived your own worst thoughts. So what can they really do? Talk. Okay. Laugh. Okay. Label you? Okay. You're not that person anymore who collapses under other people's perceptions. You're not that person who changes yourself to avoid being misunderstood. You're not that person who begs to be seen correctly, because you finally accepted something powerful. Some people will never understand you, not because you're wrong, because they don't have the emotional range, they don't have the discipline, they don't have the self-awareness, they don't have the courage to face themselves. So they look at you like you're a threat. And maybe you are. Not a threat to their safety, a threat to their comfort, a threat to their illusion, a threat to their little fantasy where they get to stay the same forever, and still be respected. You are living proof that change is possible, that healing is real, that glow-ups aren't just about looks, they're about standards, that boundaries aren't rude, they're necessary, that calm isn't weakness, it's mastery. And mastery makes people uncomfortable, because mastery exposes laziness, mastery exposes excuses, mastery exposes people who love talking about growth but never actually do it. So when you walk in and the room shifts, don't be surprised. You built this. This aura is the result of you doing the hard thing when nobody was watching. You sat with your emotions instead of escaping them. You faced rejection and didn't die. You faced betrayal and didn't turn evil. You turned sharp. You faced loneliness and didn't crumble. You leveled up. You started choosing peace like it's a paycheck. You started saying no like it's a spiritual practice. You started moving like your time is expensive. And now, when you step into a room, your energy says, "I'm not available for nonsense." And people hear that. Even the ones smiling, even the ones complimenting you, even the ones acting friendly. They can feel it underneath. They can feel that you're not easily fooled. They can feel you don't fall for vibes. You watch patterns. They can feel you don't trust words. You watch consistency. They can feel you've been burned before, and instead of becoming bitter, you became precise. And precision is scary, because precision doesn't allow loopholes. Precision doesn't allow, "I didn't mean it like that." Precision doesn't allow, "You're too sensitive." Precision doesn't allow, "That's just how I am." Your aura responds with, "Cool story.